Okay, welcome back Lag Clan clanmates, and today I'm gonna do a different video. I mean, I know I've already done one where I was painting Ember Strike, but I decided to do not Ember Strike, I decided to do Stormshade this time. So before I begin on his backstory, because this video is already 11 minutes long, so I think I got enough time to explain some of his backstory. Before I get into that though, I wanted to let you guys know, thank you so much for 27 subscribers. I know that's not a lot, considering there's other channels out there who have many more, but I do appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate the fact that 27 people have decided to give my channel a chance, and I know that a couple of them are best friends from high school. My mom's one of them, and other people that I know in real life. They're subscribed to me, but honestly, the people who don't know me in real life, who checked out the channel to begin with, are amazing as well. So anyway, going into the reason why I decided to paint Stormshade today. Reason why I did Stormshade is because he is Ember Strike's mate, and Ember Strike and him have known each other since kithood. Originally Ember Strike was bored in camp and he decided to go on an adventure as a 3-month-old kitten, and he ended up over at the barn. And at the barn he came across another kit who was about 2 moons old at the time, maybe 2.5 at the time. He came across this cat, and this cat's name was Storm. And Ember realized that Storm did not have any parents. His mom actually abandoned him when he was incredibly young, and Storm had to figure out how to, fend for himself, just to survive, basically. And what happened was, so Ember Strike, or Ember Kid at the time, he continued to sneak out of camp and go visit Stormshade, and eventually there was this one day where Ember Kid got lost. He still managed to find his way to the farm where Stormshade was living, the horse place, and what happened was they sorta just, relaxed, chilled, and what happened was Storm decided to help Ember Kid find his way back to his clan. Halfway into Shadow Clan territory, they were both attacked by foxes, and a search party that was looking for Ember Kid at the time overheard the fighting and decided to investigate. So they found Ember Kid and Storm. Not knowing who this other kitten was, the clan was at first very hostile, but Ember Kid's mother, Sunpuddle, decided to, give this kid a chance. She asked him, "What were you doing with Ember Kid?" And Storm answered honestly, saying, "Well, he was lost, we couldn't find his way home, and I decided to help him." So Silver Star, the leader at the time, was with the patrol that found Ember Kid and Storm, and decided to invite Storm into the clan as a sort of warrior. I mean, he was only 4 moons at the time, so they decided, we're gonna accept this kid into the clan, and you're gonna have to show us your loyalty. You're gonna have to show loyalty to Shadow Clan. So what happened was, over the moons, the two of them get apprenticed. Stormshade is apprenticed to Silver Star to prove his loyalty, and Emberpaw is Emberpaw is mentored to Tigerbounce. The two go on many patrols together while they're apprentices, even training together every day, and eventually they just create a bond that's so big that nobody can really break it. They refuse to go on separate patrols, they refuse to not eat together, they basically are inseparable at this moment. Basically just 100% best friends. So what happens is, as their apprenticeship continues on, and they continue to live side by side and fight side by side, they end up as warriors. And the way they got their names was, there was a River Clan hunting patrol that went over the border, and Stormpaw and Emberpaw were alone. They decided to go hunting alone because their mentors were about to assess them, or were assessing them. This part of their history is a little rough to me still, but they were being assessed, and Stormpaw saw a River Clan hunting patrol across the border. So the two apprentices go to confront them. At first, it was all good, and then the patrol began to grow hostile, noticing that the 2 Shadow Clan patrol members that they found were meager apprentices. So what they did was they went to go attack, and as the fight raged on, they came up with a fighting tactic. Stormshade would hide in the shadows around the border, while Emberstrike would use his speed and his skill to basically just confuse and strike out at his opponents. Since this was actually their warrior's assessment, their mentors watched the fight happen, and that night they became warriors. Silverstar named Stormshade after the skill of hiding in the shadows to fight, and she gave Emberstrike the name Emberstrike because of how fast he fought, to strike out with blows that would confuse or injure the enemy warriors. So the 2 of them sat vigil just outside camp all night, nothing really happening, and then eventually they went to their nests in the warrior's den and, just were warriors. A couple of moons later, a fight between River Clan and Shadow Clan again. No offense to Moon, I know their favorite clan is River Clan, but I decided to have Shadow Clan and River Clan be at war because I liked it better than Thunder Clan and Shadow Clan. Anyway, so what happened was they were at war with River Clan again, and Stormshade nearly dies in this fight. And what happens is Emberstrike, not wanting to leave things unsaid, confesses his feelings to Stormshade and says that if he were to survive, then hopefully they can start a family together. So Stormshade accepts his feelings, and the 2 of them just sort of relaxed in the Medicine Cat's den. Emberstrike continuing to visit Stormshade day after day, making sure that, he was okay, he was comfortable, his wounds weren't getting infected or anything. And eventually Stormshade makes a full recovery. So we flash forward a couple of years after that, and they've adopted 2 kits, Brinkstorm and Rosefern. Brinkstorm was actually born first, and some shenanigans happened. I don't want to spoil any future role plays that I'm gonna do with the person, Cran, they own Brinkstorm. I don't want to spoil any history right there, but let's just say that a scar on Stormshade's neck actually came from Brinkstorm. As for Rosefern, he was a kit who was born in the clan. What happened was Rosefern and Emberstrike had a surrogate, which was the Medicine Cat. And this was still rough, but I've been playing with another idea, which I might go in another video. But he was the only one that survived, as the 2 other kits, Thistle Kit and Flower Kit, because I was doing a flower thing with their names, passed on to Star Clan, they were stillborn. And Rose Kit survived. He became Rose Paw, and one day there was a storm that broke out in camp. Silverstar and Stormshade were left behind as Stormshade tried to, protect the leader and make sure she wasn't about to die due to the fact that the storm waters were rising. The flood waters were rising. At this point, Emberstrike had become the new deputy, and, he's been working as deputy for a few moons at this point, and Stormshade wasn't aware that the last time that they would be together was that day. So Emberstrike and Stormshade sort of, said their goodbyes at the beginning of the flood, and Stormshade went back to save Silverstar, but the storm was too rough and too hard for him to, figure out how to fight through, and he died. He died with Silverstar making Emberstrike the next leader of StarClan. And when he was finally in StarClan, he saw Emberstrike during his leadership ceremony. And sorry, I'm rambling on now. He gives Emberstrike the life of compassion. As the darkness surrounded Emberstrike, he looks up to see Stormshade, looking at him with a grin on his face. "You've made it this far, eh, Ember?" He smiled, touching his nose to Emberstrike's muzzle and closing his eyes. For a brief moment, Emberstrike was brought back to the day that the River Clan patrol attacked him and nearly killed him. "With this life I give you compassion. Use it to protect the clan, and know that whatever you choose will be the right decision. were his parting words as the world around them vanished and StarClan chanted Ember Strike's new name of Ember Star. That's still rough. I'm working on a story for Ember Star. It's been in my head for a while now. But, yeah, anyway, that's the rough story for Stormshade. And some things I left out, obviously, so I didn't spoil, parts of his life. And so I didn't spoil, things that will be revealed in role plays or things I might write down the road. But Ember Strike and Stormshade were basically my first two Warriors OCs that I shipped together, mainly because I kind of like Stormshade's short temper and Ember Strike's willingness to help every single cat that he came across, and I sort of saw Ember Strike as that first cat that broke down Stormshade's iron walls of, sheltering himself from other cats and sort of opening up to allow Ember Strike to befriend him and get to know him. And below the rough exterior that Stormshade seems to give while in role plays or in stories as I write, he's actually a really sweet cat. He cares deeply for kits, as he was abandoned when he was no more than 3 moons old, and he cares deeply about every cat that he's met over the years. Anyway, if you've enjoyed my rambling, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, have an amazing day, and may StarClan light your paths.